Hi, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Garance French, and on this channel, we talk about cinema, TV shows, and music. With my podcast, Director Scott, I talk about famous, infamous, or not so famous directors that had a huge impact on cinema in its history. Today, we're talking about actor and director Orson Welles. He died 40 years ago, and it is time to take a look at his life and career. Orson Welles was born George Orson Welles on May 5, 1915 in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was an actor, director, producer, screenwriter, and radio personality. His parents, Richard and Beatrice, named him after his great-grandfather Orson and one of their brothers, George. His father was an inventor. He invented, and I quote, a type of bicycle lamp, and his mother was a concert pianist. Orson had a brother 10 years his senior, but he died rather young as he suffered from various mental health problems and was internalized a lot. When he was quite young, his parents separated. His father suffered from alcohol addiction. In 1919, he and his mother moved to Chicago. Throughout his childhood, his mother made him take piano and violin lesson. Beatrice died in 1924 when Orson was only 9 years old. He then stayed with his father, who took him to travel the world, mostly Jamaica and the Far East. Here's a quote from biographer Frank Brady about the relationship between the two men at the time. During the 3 years that Orson lived with his father, some observers wondered who took care of whom. In 1930, Richard died of a heart attack, leaving Orson an orphan at age 15. He then attended the Art Institute of Chicago, where he studied painting. He traveled again, mostly to Europe. One day, as he was in Dublin, Ireland, he just walked in the Gate Theatre and pretended to be an American star to get a role. No one believed him, but they were still impressed, and he made his debut on stage in October 1931. He also started producing and designing sets. After his return to the US, he kept working in theater in New York. In 1944, he started working on the radio. The same year, in November, he gets married for the first time, with Virginia Nicholson, a socialite. In 1935, he made his debut on CBS Radio with The March of Time. His job was to produce stories for the radio. That same year, he created the Federal Theater Project, where he would hire artists and produce shows. He notably produced a version of the play Macbeth by Shakespeare with an all-African-American cast, replacing the Scottish witchcraft with Haitian voodoo. He stayed there until 1937, when he created the Mercury Theater. In 1937, he adapted Les Misérables, novel by French author Victor Hugo, for the radio. He also started performing on the radio with his group of the Mercury Theater. In 1938, he welcomed his first child, a son named Christopher. It's around that time that Hollywood notices him, and people start to make him offers to come work for them. He started working with RKO Pictures in 1939. That same year, he separated from his wife. They will be officially divorced a year later. The reason for this divorce might be the fact that he was a very unfaithful husband. He notably had a secret relationship with actress Dolores Del Rio as he was working with her on a movie, but she ended the relationship. In 1941 was released his most famous movie, Citizen Kane. Often considered as the best movie of all time, it won him the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. The story of this Oscar win is actually quite interesting. Orson Welles wrote the screenplay alongside Herman J. Mankiewicz. But the latter claims that he did most of the work and that Welles does not deserve the Oscar. It is such an interesting story that there's actually a movie about it called Mank. In 1941, Orson Welles also became Goodwill Ambassador to Latin America. He lived in South America for a while. He went on to direct a couple more movies, Magnificent Ambersons in 1942 and Journey into Fear in 1943. In 1943, he married actress Rita Hayworth. In 1944, they welcomed a daughter named Rebecca. Around that time, he returned to the US and was soon back on the radio. In 1946, he directed the movie The Stranger and the musical Around the World. In 1947, The Lady from Shanghai, one of his most famous movies, was released. He and Rita Hayworth soon get divorced. In 1948, he starred as the main role in his adaptation of Macbeth. In 1955, he married Paola Mori and welcomed a daughter, Beatrice, in the same year. But he was still very unfaithful and even was rumored to have illegitimate children. Throughout his life, Orson Welles was very active in the fight against racism and segregation. Also, here's an anecdote that has nothing to do with anything, but I thought it was too weird not to include. Once, as he was on a hike, he met Adolf Hitler. Like, he was on a hike too with someone else. That's a weird crossover and too weird not to talk about it. Orson Welles died on October 10th, 1985 in Hollywood, California. He had given a last interview the day before his death. Throughout his career, he directed 14 feature films and wrote 13 of them. He also worked as a producer on 5 of them. As an actor, he played in 127 films, if I count it right, and 24 TV shows and series. In 1970, he received an honorary Oscar for his career. I was also surprised to find out that he has a Grammy, won in 1982 for the audio version of his novel. In 1952, he won a Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival for the movie Othello. 7 years later, he would win Best Actor at Cannes for the movie Compulsion. He also won 2 Golden Lions from the Venice Film Festival. From movies to radio, he left quite the mark in Hollywood. As I said, Citizen Kane is considered to be the best movie ever by a lot of people. Though he was a terrible husband, he was quite the visionary when it came to art in a lot of different forms. On this note, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you soon with even more director biographies.